Hi. We all know how important relationships are. That's why you're here, right? Just to improve your relationships. Could be your family, could be your colleagues at work, could be getting yourself ready for a promotion and you need to be able to get along with different people at different levels. I'm John Daly with DG Success Insights, and this is our workshop on teaching how to build strong, successful, rewarding relationships. I've been at work for over 50 years. I started out at 18, leasing a gas station, went in the Air Force, went to sales, went into management training. And then I became a consultant. I did turnarounds for companies that were in trouble. I've had my fair share of successes, failures, and education from those failures. Do you inspire people in your life, in your career? Do you see bright, shiny eyes looking back at you when you're talking to people? People that are important to you. Managers used to ask me, John, how do I know if you think I'm doing a good job? And I'd say, do you see bright, shiny eyes looking back at you? Because I watch to see how people look at you, deal with you. And I ran a college of sales and science for a life sciences company. I put that saying on the back of every classroom, huge classrooms. Every classroom had a big poster on the wall that said, do you see bright, shiny eyes looking back at you? I wanted to know that my instructors cared. I used to also ask people, do people describe you as a trusted business partner? That's not a title that you can demand. That's not a title that you get without earning it. Are you seen as a subject matter expert? Again, it's not a title you demand. It's a title you earn. So you'll know how good you're doing at relationships depending on how people describe you. To do that, to be good at a relationship, you have to earn endorsements from people. Those are two endorsements that we just talked about. To earn those endorsements, you have to know yourself. What behavioral style are you? There's 4 behavioral styles. How do you like to be communicated with? How do you not like to be communicated with? You know how to control yourself. So emotional intelligence is supposed to be more important than IQ. And emotional intelligence is all about knowing how to control yourself and the people around you. And do you know others? Can you figure out which behavioral style people are so you know how to communicate with them so they appreciate it? And do you do things for others or do you expect them to do things for you? Success of our life and our career is determined by the level of relationships we build. It's just that simple. When you order people or direct someone to do something, you're going to do as little as possible and don't turn your back on them. When you inspire someone to do something, they will surprise you and even themselves at the level of creativity and production they get done. So why invest your time and money in a relationship, and with who? You have to invest it with all your stakeholders, the people in your life, because they're going to help determine the success of your life going forward. This is some of the people that you hopefully are building positive relationships with. I want you to pause the video a moment, and I want you to write down, why should you build strong relationships? What's in it for you? You had to have a reason when you took this workshop, when you signed up. What are you going to achieve in your life if you can build better and stronger relationships? What about that excites you? I had a CEO I was working with in St. Louis, and he said to me, John, I don't want to hire anybody that I don't look forward to seeing every morning. That excites me. And what would it mean to you if you could build stronger and better, more relationships? How would it change your life? Write those things down. What does a relationship in trouble look like? We have to know when things aren't going well so we can do something about it, right? So what does a relationship in trouble look like? You won't see bright shiny eyes looking back at you, that's for sure, right? The person that's talking to you may be talking at you. People are irritated, frustrated. Do you overreact? Do they overreact in interactions with each other, with you? Because that leads to a loss of attraction, and you become depolarized with that person in their relationship with you. That means you have different states of mind. You're in your head, not coming from your heart. Different states of mind may be that you're excited about a project and they're not. You have different levels of energy. You may be excited and emotional and ready to take on the world, and they may feel like they just don't have it in them today. Different levels of energy. Your mind says you're suffering when you don't feel appreciated. When your mind says you're suffering, your relationships suffer. Proximity. How much time are you together versus apart? Think about it. Whether it's your spouse, whether it's your coworker, whether it's a friend, you get upset with them and you start avoiding them. All those things depolarize the relationship, cause a loss of attraction. Stacking. This is one of my favorites. We all do it. You're upset with someone and they do something that just upsets you, and you put a mental sticky note on their forehead with what they did. And if you're really mad at them and you don't take the time to repair the relationship, they start having more and more sticky notes. You're anything that upsets you that they do, you put on a sticky note and stick it on their head. And pretty soon they look like the girl on the bottom, just covered with sticky notes. Now, when you see that person, you are not going to be happy that you see them because you're remembering all the things they did. And the girl on the bottom, you're remembering a lot. So you even may try to avoid them. What are the R's? The ingredients for a stressed relationship. Obviously, resistance to doing anything. You don't have to do that because they're not your friend. They're not your spouse. You're not happy with them. Resistance, resentment. Anything they do, you may resent. You'll find a way to resent it. All you have to do is posture it in a certain way and you can take offense at it. Rejection. How many times do you stop taking people's calls? You stop seeing them. You avoid them. And repression. These are all things that come from your head, not from your heart. There's three mistakes men make with women. This is important to know if you're trying to understand what women want and you're trying to have better relationships. The three mistakes men make are the three U's: unseen, not understood, and unsafe. Unseen, you may be watching a football game, a basketball game, and she's talking to you, and you're saying, I can hear you, I'm listening, and she doesn't believe you. You're not looking into her eyes, so she's assuming that you're just blowing her off. She feels unseen, not understood. Women want us to listen. Women vent. They don't want us to fix everything, right? Women want us to listen, not fix things. And if we don't, then they don't feel understood. They don't believe you understand them, or you'd listen. If you watch two women talking, they will sit there and listen without trying to fix the problem for the other person. They just listen. Unsafe. Are you going to be there for them if something happens? Do they believe that? Do you have their back? Do they feel like you care about them enough that you're going to make sure they're safe? There's three mistakes women make with men, the three C's. Men hate to be criticized. They literally hate when their spouses criticize them. Closing yourself off from them. How many times have you heard a spouse say, it's going to be a while before he sees me. It's going to be a while before we make love. It's going to be a while before I talk to him. Closing yourself off to him just exacerbates the problem of loss of attraction and depolarizes the relationship. It doesn't make things better. And the longer it goes on, it makes things worse. Controlling. Men hate to be controlled. How many times have you heard women say, you know how many years it took me to train my husband to be a good husband? Do you know how men hate to hear that? Or if the wife tells them where to go when they get in the car, how to get there, what restaurants they should like, anything. They're controlling. Men literally hate that. It's depolarizing, and it just causes a deeper loss of attraction. What does a great relationship look like? What are the ingredients for maximum relationship mastery? Number one, the first thing, if you're in a great relationship, you give. You focus on giving, not getting. When you focus on getting, it's a transaction. And there's no emotion to it. It's a transaction. But when you focus on giving, helping other people, helping them do better, now you create an endorsement. You create a positive relationship. People really love and respect the state of mind you bring to the relationship, what meaning you bring to the relationship, what actions and thoughts come from your heart. And you have the faith and courage to be open again. When people know that you care about the people in your life, they think you're a good investment. They think you're a good risk, not even a risk. This is something that, for me, was a major help for my relationship. When I was taught it's 100% me and 0% my spouse. It's 0% my team, my colleague, my friend. It's 100% me. I'm going to do everything I can to make their relationship successful, regardless of what they do or don't. It's 100% my spouse, my teammate, my colleague or friend, and 0% me. They're going to do whatever it takes for the relationship to be successful because the relationship's worth it. Now, contrast that with 50% me, 50% you. Transaction. I'll do this if you do that. If you don't do this, I'm not doing that. How much of a chance do you think that relationship has of thriving? So remember we talked about the 4 R's: resistance, resentment, rejection, repression. This is what causes a loss of attraction and depolarization. And you're coming from your head, not your heart. How do we turn that around? How do we get out of the 4 R's? You have to have courage to open your heart again when it gets broken, when it gets closed off and hurt. You have to have faith, certainty. When you don't know, but you trust, the relationship's going to succeed and it's worth it. There's no guarantees in life, but if you trust and believe that the relationship's going to succeed and it's worth it, and you have faith in that, the 4 R's start to go away. Willingness and receptivity to be honest and take responsibility for whatever you've done. When you do something, you're going to say, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that, and I'm going to learn from it. I'll do better in the future. have compassion and love your heart only, not your head. So when you talk to the people in your relationships, the people in your life, you're talking to them from your heart. Think about it like this. If you talk to somebody face to face, you're much more likely to appreciate and respect them than if you send them an email and there's no face-to-face contact. You don't even hear their voice. And that starts to come straight from your head. And that's where things get really out of hand, is in emails. In Hawaii, they have a saying, ho'oponopono pono. I never get that right, but you can Google it. The Hawaiians believe a path for forgiveness, when you're coming from your heart, not your head, is looking somebody in the eye and saying, I love you, I care about you, I respect you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. So if it's my wife, I'm going to say, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And I usually say it 3 times because I want her to know I mean it. Try it sometimes. You see somebody having a difficult time with their spouse, ask them to look each other in the eye and say this to each other 3 times and watch the change in emotion. But even when I'm upset with somebody, I'm going to say, I'm sorry, I respect you, please forgive me, thank you. The Hawaiians believe that that has a mind shift that changes your emotions. And this is really important. This is the bottom line, folks. There are no perfect people. There are no perfect spouses, not even me. There are no perfect friends, not even me. There are no perfect coworkers. We all make mistakes. We all have good days and bad days, right? They're only happy, sad, miserable people. They're not good or bad. They're happy, sad, or miserable. And we all go through those 3 things at different times in our life, right? But we're not all bad or all good. We're somewhere in the middle. But here's the big takeaway from that. If you look at people that work on solid relationships, they work on communicating and working with people so those people are inspired. Those people want to do their best, even surprise themselves. They tend to be happier more of the time. I always ask managers in years gone by to watch the Miracle hockey team for the 1980s Olympics. The reason I asked them to watch that is that coach put together a team of average to above average players, but no superstars. Matter of fact, a superstar tried to get on the team and he declined it. And the investors were livid. What are you doing? This guy's amazing. What? He says, no, but he may be amazing, but he's not a team player. I just want team players. So he took this team of hockey players, turned them into an amazing team, and they beat the Russians for the gold in the Olympics, 1980. You can take a great team of players, give them a bad manager, bad coach, and watch the team go downhill. You can give an average team a great coach and watch that team amaze even themselves. So if we know we have that power, it's within us to create an environment where the people around us are inspired, are excited, are happy. Why wouldn't we do that? And that's why I do what I do. That's why I teach this workshop, is because we can make a difference in the world. More importantly, we can make a difference in our life and all the people around us. Successful people know that there's no perfect people. When they hire someone, they hire a work in progress. They're going to have to be onboarded. They're going to have to learn the company culture and the company rules. And even after all that's done, they're not perfect, so they still can be developed to get even better. That's what a great leader hires. A work in progress, an investment, potential. With the love and respect of the leader, leaders don't do great things. Great leaders don't do great things. Great leaders help other people do great things. They build amazing teams. Every company knows none of the people, the stakeholders, employees, suppliers, customers, there's no perfect people. But they're all an investment that if they put the right time and skills and love into these people, stakeholders, they can do amazing things. So when people, you're in a relationship with love and respect, their family and friends, their fellow team members, what they're doing, who they're doing it for, and they communicate with you from their heart, not their head. When those people are in a relationship with people like that, they feel safe. They feel like this is a good investment. This is not a risk at all. Look how he treats everyone else around him. Look how she treats everyone else around him. She just lights everybody up. So what's next? What else can you do to improve and grow your relationships? Well, you have to learn behavior patterns, and we're going to do a workshop on communication skills and behavior patterns. You have to be, if you can read somebody. So if I know there's a driver, somebody's a driver, I know that they're pretty much all business. So I'm not going to bring up family or sports or anything else. I'm going to stick to the facts and to the points that they want to talk about. And they usually are somebody with a few words. So I'm going to be somebody a few words. Now, if it's a team builder or a thought leader, high eyes, a thought leader, those people are relational. If you don't talk about family or the team, or they're going to be offended because they think that's what you do. They're relational. They think people and relationships are important. Where analyticals and high Ds, drivers, they think business is important. They stick to the facts. The drivers, he wants to just get things done. They like to finish tasks. The analytical wants to make sure all the points have been covered. They don't want any mistakes, so they're going to do all the research, cover all the points to make sure that things go well. Now, if I know which one of those four people I'm talking to, I can amend or change my behavioral style so that they're more comfortable. I can communicate with them with respect in a way that they appreciate. That's understanding people's behavior patterns, and there'll be a workshop for that. Know how to read people so you can communicate with them in the manner they appreciate. We just talked about that. We do assessments. It's an online assessment. It takes, I don't know, 15 minutes to 20 minutes to do. Gives us a 30 to 50 page report. It's usually 95% accurate because it's been around forever. It's based on psychology and neurology, all science, and it's constantly updated. But the point isn't that this is who you are. The point is this is who you are, and we can talk about it, and you can understand how you like being talked to and how you don't like being talked to, and you can understand how other people like being talked to and don't like being talked to. You can make a huge difference in the culture. We're also going to do a workshop on emotional intelligence. Many people say emotional intelligence is more important than IQ. How many times have you seen an adult throw an adult temper tantrum and just trash the culture, the emotions, that the team is so stressed out that productivity and creativity goes down the tubes? So we're going to devote one workshop just to emotional intelligence. And you want to know how to negotiate with people so it's a win-win. they walk away and you walk away from the negotiation feeling like it was a great negotiation. You both won. And can you see how that's going to deepen a relationship? So to do this takes practice. And I can't tell you how many people, even Tony Robbins has had people walk up to him and said, I took your course, $5,000, and I didn't get anything out of it. And the first question that he asks is, so what did you change in your life because of what you learned in that weekend? And they usually say nothing. He says, so why do you expect anything to have changed? And it's the same thing here, folks. You have to practice this stuff. You have to intentionally practice what you learned here today. And I put together groups on the website, one for personal relationships, one for professional relationships, where you can talk to other people, talk to me about how this has gone in your life. Share with me or other people in that group if you tried something and how did it work out, so we can discuss it. When we do that, it anchors it in your brain. You get better at it. It's taken me years to get to the point. To give you an example, we flew to Chicago, the consulting team and I, to talk to a manufacturing company. While I was on the plane, I read each one of their assessment, studied it for the whole flight. And my partner, younger partner, was sitting there watching. He didn't say a word, but when we got to this company, he walked to the owner and he says, can I ask a favor? And the guy said, sure, what is it? And he says, could you not tell us who you are and see if John can pick you out, can tell us which one is which? And the guy laughed. He said, sure. So we sat down. There was some small talk for a while, and I was just watching everybody. And it didn't take long, and I started saying, you're so-and-so, you're so-and-so. They said, that's amazing. How did you do that? And I showed them the assessment, and I said, I just studied your personality, your behavior, so all I had to do is watch. Well, that's a skill. It takes practice and it takes work. So join the groups if you can. Keep studying and practicing these skills for amazing relationships. If you think they're important to you, then make changes in your life. So thank you very much for taking this workshop on relationship skills. And I'm looking forward to hearing from each of you how it's changed your life. Tell me, send me an email or put it on the website. What did you try and how did it change your relationships? How did it change your lives? And I hope to see you at the future workshops, because we're just going to keep advancing the skills. I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful week, and I hope I get to talk to you soon. Take care.